Hello, everyone. Welcome to the series on food and books. I am a foodie and I see food in most things. Example, when I come back from a trip, I bring some local exotic cuisine, like bringing back cheese from a trip to Europe or bringing back some apricots from a trip to Uzbekistan. I recently made a batch of tiramisu. It came out so good, I quickly made another batch to share with my colleagues. Once I visited a friend and spent the entire duration pouring into a cookbook I found on their bookshelf. So, yes, when I read a book, along with the actual lessons mentioned in the book, my takeaway is usually also some or any of the food mentioned in the book. If you have stayed so far, I'm sure you'll enjoy this ride. Let us get into the first book of the series, which is My Life in Full by Indra Nooyi. This book is a beautiful read on how family shapes a girl. Indra Nooyi details the role of her parents and her grandparents on her education, her growing up, and her being able to sustain her stellar career. Example, it was common for her mother to encourage a young Indra and her sister Chandrika to have debates at the dinner time on any topic. For example, if you were the PM of India, what would you do? The two sisters would compose a speech in 10 minutes and deliver it while her mother had her dinner. And the mom would decide the winner. The winner would get the much coveted square of Cadbury chocolate. This book resonated with me because during school's time and summer holidays, my dad would do something very similar. While he left for his office, he would give me and my brother a topic to write a one-page essay on and would ask us to read it out when he returned in the evening. Well, there was no chocolate prize, but it kept us busy during summer holidays. This also reminded me of the simpler times when resources were limited and people were happy nevertheless. Mrs. Nooyi says her mother, Mrs. Shanta, always had one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. She was both a catalyst for her career and a safety net. My mom has often played a similar role for me. For example, early in my career, when I had got an exciting offer to work for Citibank, which involved working little later into the night and returning home around 10, which was way off from my usual guidance of return home by 6, she was the one who said, "So what? Go pursue it. The company provides cab transport. We are young, we can manage the late nights." She did the same when I got an offer at VMware, which was around 30 kilometers away from home. She said, "People move countries to go for good opportunities. We can support you if you decide to take up a job with some travel within the same city." As this book pans out into the journey of high stakes corporate career at Motorola, BCG, and finally PepsiCo, she talks about going into details, reading up on things she didn't know about, asking stupid questions, lessons she received from leaders. One important lesson that comes out in the book is take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. She calls it focusing on the right side of the decimal, focusing on fractions of cents because over huge volumes, they drive PepsiCo's profitability. I could draw parallels of this at my workplace too. I work in the AI space and I look at the cost of using LLMs on a weekly basis. All performance, throughput, latency calculations on one side and cost of each model on another. Cost trumps everything else every time. We have to be careful about input tokens, output tokens, reasoning tokens, and they can tip the balance in favor of one model over another over a huge volume of API calls. Now, coming to the food part of the book. This is the part I was waiting for eagerly. Because PepsiCo at its core is a food and beverage company. And Nooyi's tenure was defined by some genuinely fascinating moves. PepsiCo acquired Quaker Oats in 2001 for about $13.4 billion. On the surface, a snack company buying an oat company seemed like a move for healthy diversification. But the real prize wasn't oats, it was Gatorade, which became one of the most dominant sports drinks on the planet. Before Nooyi's time, PepsiCo had actually bought Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut, all of them all at once. three of the biggest fast food chains in the world inside a snack beverage company. But the genius move wasn't acquiring them, it was the deal that they had in place while spinning them off. In 1997, those three brands became Yum brands, a separate entity. But here's the kicker: even after spinning them off, PepsiCo still had a deal. Remember the unlimited refills on Pepsi you get at Taco Bell's? Yeah? PepsiCo got an exclusive beverage partnerships deal with Yum brands. So, in the end, you don't need to own the restaurant. You just need to own what everyone drinks at the restaurant. Smart move, I say. So, what did I take away from this book? The book is doing something really interesting. It's using one woman's life story to tell you how large organizations work. Quaker gets you Gatorade, Taco Bell gets you exclusive pouring rights across 55,000 restaurants, and all of it is built on reading the right side of the decimal. But underneath all of that strategy, there's this recurring theme of who was in your corner? Your family, your support system. For Indra Nooyi, it was her family. For me, it's mine. And that's why she said, I stayed at PepsiCo for 24 years because I had a great support system. I had a husband who was willing to share the load. I had a mom who helped raise my children.